The Bermuda Triangle is not on any official map. No government agency recognizes its existence, yet for decades this phantom patch of ocean has swallowed ships and planes into legend, without a single credible piece of evidence that anything unusual ever happened there. The mystery isn't in the water, it's in the stories we tell ourselves. The first news article about strange disappearances in the Bermuda area appeared on September 17, 1950. Written by Edward Van Winkle Jones of the Miami Herald and distributed by the Associated Press, it described a handful of lost vessels and aircraft. Nothing that couldn't be explained by storms, mechanical failure, or human error. But the idea caught fire. 2 years later, in 1952, a writer named George X. Sand published a piece in Fate magazine titled "Sea Mystery at Our Back Door." He was the first to draw a shape around the disappearances, a triangle of water bounded by Florida, Bermuda, and Puerto Rico. The triangle had a name, it had a shape, and soon it would have a mythology. The region itself is vast. Depending on who you ask, the Bermuda Triangle covers anywhere from 1.3 to 3.9 million square kilometers, 500,000 to 1.5 million square miles. Some authors even stretched its boundaries all the way to the coast of Ireland, but the core points were always Miami, San Juan, and Bermuda. This is not a place where shipping lanes are unusually dangerous. It is, however, a place where the Gulf Stream, a powerful ocean current with surface speeds of up to 2 meters per second, carries debris, wrecks, and bodies far from where they fell. It is a place where tropical storms form suddenly, where shallow banks hide coral reefs, and where compasses behave oddly because true north and magnetic north only align along a line running from Wisconsin to the Gulf of Mexico. Sailors have known about magnetic declination for centuries, but in the middle of a storm, with no landmarks and a spinning compass needle, a pilot can become lost in minutes. That was exactly what happened to Flight 19. In December of 1945, 5 U.S. Navy Avenger torpedo bombers took off on a routine training mission. They never returned. The lead pilot radioed that his compasses were malfunctioning. "We cannot be sure of any direction," he reported. "Everything is wrong. Strange. The ocean doesn't look as it should." Those words, later quoted in a 1962 article by Alan W. Eckert in the American Legion magazine, became the cornerstone of the Bermuda Triangle legend. A squadron of modern military aircraft vanishing without trace. But the truth is less mysterious. The flight leader made a navigation error, leading his planes over the open Atlantic instead of back to Florida. They ran out of fuel. The weather turned. The sea swallowed them. A rescue plane sent to find them also exploded and sank. It was a tragedy, not a paranormal event, but the story of Flight 19 was only just beginning. In the years that followed, other disappearances were folded into the Triangle's growing mythology. In March of 1948, a small fishing boat carrying 3 men vanished near the Bermuda area. Among the missing was a jockey named Albert Snyder. In December of that same year, an airborne transport DC-3 charter flight disappeared en route from Puerto Rico to Miami. In January of 1949, the Star Ariel, a passenger aircraft operated by British South American Airways, went silent over the same waters. Each case had its own explanation: bad weather, mechanical failure, pilot error. But together they formed a pattern in the minds of those who wanted to believe. The man who turned that pattern into a global phenomenon was Vincent Gaddis. In February of 1964, he published an article in Argosy magazine titled "The Deadly Bermuda Triangle." In it, he argued that Flight 19 and other disappearances were part of a pattern of strange events that stretched back to at least 1840. He pinned the triangle's vertices as Miami, San Juan, and Bermuda, the same shape Sand had drawn 12 years earlier. The following year, Gaddis expanded his article into a book, Invisible Horizons. Then came John Wallace Spencer's Limbo of the Lost in 1969, reprinted in 1973. Then, in 1974, the floodgates opened. Charles Berlitz published The Bermuda Triangle, and Richard Weiner published The Devil's Triangle. These books sold millions of copies. They introduced elements of the supernatural, UFOs, time warps, a parallel universe. They claimed that ships had vanished in calm weather, that entire crews had disappeared, leaving behind half-eaten meals. The public devoured it. But not everyone was convinced. In 1975, a librarian and aviation researcher named Larry Kusher published a book with a blunt title, The Bermuda Triangle Mystery Solved. Kusher had done something no previous author had bothered to do. He went back to the original sources. He checked weather reports, Coast Guard records, shipping manifests, and witness statements. What he found was a house of cards. Many of the stories that Gaddis and Berlitz had presented as unsolvable mysteries turned out to be exaggerations, distortions, or outright fabrications. For example, Berlitz described a freighter that vanished 3 days after leaving a port. But the ship had actually departed from a port with the same name in the Pacific Ocean. He presented the disappearance of round-the-world yachtsman Donald Crowhurst as a triangle mystery, even though Crowhurst had clearly committed suicide at sea, leaving behind detailed logbooks. He claimed that a plane lost in 1937 had plunged into the ocean off Daytona Beach, Florida, in front of hundreds of witnesses. Hardly a mystery. And then there was the case of the VA Fog, a cargo ship that exploded and sank in 1972 off the coast of Texas. Nowhere near the accepted boundaries of the Bermuda Triangle, yet a triangle author insisted that all the bodies had vanished except for the captain, still sitting at his desk, clutching a coffee cup. The Coast Guard had photographs of the wreck. They recovered multiple bodies. The captain was not at his desk. The story was fiction. Kusher also discovered that the authors routinely omitted mention of tropical storms. They described disappearances as occurring in calm weather, when meteorological records clearly showed that hurricanes or gales were raging. They inflated numbers, invented details, and presented ordinary accidents as inexplicable events. His conclusion was stark. The number of ships and planes lost in the Bermuda Triangle was not significantly higher than in any other comparable region of the ocean. The twist is not that the mystery is unsolved. The twist is that it was never really a mystery at all. In 1976, the television program Nova, on its Horizon series, aired an episode titled The Case of the Bermuda Triangle. It strongly criticized the myth. By then, even the insurance giant Lloyd's of London had weighed in. They confirmed that no unusual number of ships had sunk in the area, and they did not charge higher premiums for vessels passing through it. The United States Coast Guard concurred. In 2013, the World Wildlife Fund published a study identifying the 10 most dangerous seas for shipping. The Bermuda Triangle was not among them. In 2017, Australian scientist Carl Kruszelnicki stated that the accident rate in the Triangle was equivalent to anywhere else in the world. The United States Navy rejected any supernatural claims, emphasizing natural causes and human error. The U.S. Board on Geographic Names does not even list the Bermuda Triangle as an official location, citing a lack of evidence that it is distinct from any other stretch of ocean. So why does the legend persist? Part of the answer lies in the very nature of the ocean. As paranormal investigator Benjamin Radford has noted, locating a missing aircraft at sea is extraordinarily difficult. The search area is vast, the depths are immense, and wreckage can drift for miles before sinking. That difficulty does not make the disappearances supernatural. It simply makes them hard to solve. But mystery sells, and the Bermuda Triangle became a perfect vessel for the human desire to believe that some forces lie beyond our understanding. Even the most famous evidence for the triangle's strangeness, the Bimini Road, a rock formation off the island of Bimini in the Bahamas, has been debunked. Some claimed it was a man-made structure from Atlantis, a lost civilization. The psychic Edgar Cayce had predicted that evidence of Atlantis would be found in 1968, and the Bimini Road was discovered that same year. But geologists have determined that the road is a natural formation, limestone beach rock that fractured into rectangular blocks over thousands of years. There is no Atlantis, there is no parallel universe. There is only the ocean, vast and indifferent. Let us step back and reconstruct the timeline of this story with the precision it deserves. We begin with the earliest mention of disappearances in the region, which Vincent Gaddis traced back to around 1840, though he offered no verifiable details. Then came the 1950 newspaper article by Edward Van Winkle Jones, the first to group these incidents together. That article was factual but unremarkable. It did not claim anything supernatural. It was George X. Sand's 1952 piece in Fate magazine that first drew the triangle. Sand was not a scientist. He was a writer for a pulp magazine devoted to the paranormal. From the very beginning, the Bermuda Triangle was not a discovery. It was a creation. The turning point came in 1962 when Alan W. Eckert published his account of Flight 19 in the American Legion magazine. His article quoted the pilot's famous words, "We cannot be sure of any direction, everything is wrong, strange, the ocean doesn't look as it should." That quote is haunting, but Eckert's article was a dramatic retelling, not a precise historical document. He omitted the fact that the flight leader had already been disoriented and had made a navigation error. He left out the weather reports showing deteriorating conditions. He turned a training accident into a supernatural tragedy. 2 years later, Vincent Gaddis built on that foundation. His 1964 Argosy article, The Deadly Bermuda Triangle, was the first to explicitly argue that Flight 19 and other incidents formed a pattern. He expanded it into the 1965 book Invisible Horizons. Then came John Wallace Spencer's Limbo of the Lost, 1969, Charles Berlitz's The Bermuda Triangle, 1974, and Richard Weiner's The Devil's Triangle, 1974. Each successive book added more cases, more speculation, more supernatural elements. By the time Berlitz wrote his book, he was not checking facts. He was repeating stories that had already been exaggerated. For example, the VA Fog sinking in 1972 occurred off Texas, far from the triangle, but Berlitz included it anyway, and he inserted the false detail of the captain with his coffee cup. He presented Donald Crowhurst's suicide as a mystery, ignoring the clear evidence. He described a ship that disappeared 3 days after leaving port, but it was a different port with the same name in the Pacific. A simple error, but one that no editor caught. Larry Cush's 1975 book, The Bermuda Triangle Mystery Solved, systematically dismantled these claims. He showed that the number of losses was not anomalous. He demonstrated that weather was routinely misrepresented. He proved that the area had no official boundaries. The triangle was simply a convenient shape that made a good story. In 1976, the Nova Horizon documentary reinforced his findings. In 1992, a Channel 4 documentary for the Equinox series interviewed Lloyd's of London, which again confirmed no unusual insurance claims. In 2013, WWF's study of dangerous shipping lanes left the Bermuda Triangle out entirely. In 2017, Carl Kruzelnicki confirmed the accident rate was normal. Yet the myth continues. Why? Because the inaccuracies in the early reports were never widely corrected. The dramatic version of Flight 19, with its mysterious radio transmissions and vanished planes, stuck in the public imagination. The debunking was printed in books and aired on television, but it lacked the allure of the unknown. A librarian named Kusher could not compete with the heady promise of parallel universes and alien abductions. The triangle lives on because we want it to. The Bermuda Triangle is a lesson in how stories shape reality. No government recognizes it. No insurance company fears it. No scientific study has ever found anything anomalous there. And yet, ask someone on the street, and they will likely tell you that ships and planes vanish there without a trace. The power of a good story, told badly, is stronger than the power of facts, told well. The truth is that the ocean is dangerous enough without needing to invoke the supernatural. The Gulf Stream moves wreckage, storms appear without warning. Human error is eternal. These are not mysteries, they are tragedies. And perhaps that is what makes the Bermuda Triangle so appealing. It offers a way to transform random loss into something meaningful, something with a pattern and a name. But the pattern is invisible, the name is empty, and the only thing that really vanished long ago was our willingness to accept the ordinary explanation. In our next episode, we will look at another case where the truth was stranger than the fiction, but only because someone decided to make it that way. Thank you for watching. If this story stayed with you, do me a favor. Subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a new mystery. Leave a like if it gave you chills, and tell me down in the comments what you believe really happened. I'll see you in the next one.